Hey everyone! Gosh, has it been a while since I have done one of these videos, and it is good to be back. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. If you're watching and you've been here before, then glad you came back. And happy October to everyone. I hope that your fall is going great so far. Where we live, it's not exactly feeling like fall just yet. It's still pretty warm, so hopefully on into the rest of the month, and by Halloween it's going to start cooling off a little bit. So it's already getting cooler at night, so I thought it was the perfect time to do a fall recipe for you guys. And this is actually I forget where I found it online, and it was listed as a crock pot recipe, but I'm actually going to do it on the stove, which, I mean, you could certainly do it in the crock pot and just let it simmer all day. But this is for a chicken tortilla soup. And the ingredients are, and this is so easy, so easy. The ingredients are a can of black beans, which are drained, and I did kind of rinse them a little bit too. A can of corn, except I was out of cans of corn, but I have these bags of frozen corn, so I'm just going to use about half of that bag, so I don't need all this. And then I have this one sitting here to show you guys that you could actually use this Mexican corn with red and green bell peppers if you want to. I'm not going to because I'm not a fan of peppers, but if you like things spicy and you like peppers, then that would also be a good option, or just dice up some red or green, you know, whatever your color pepper choice is, and put them in there. And then the next item is a can of cream of chicken soup, which I've already got in my pot over here. And back here in this measuring cup is 2 cups of milk and 1.5 cups of water. And then a packet of taco seasoning. The recipe that I originally found, I think, called for a packet of enchilada seasoning. You really can't find packets of enchilada seasoning anywhere, and they did put a note in there and said taco seasoning would work just as well, and that's actually what they had used in the recipe. So I've made this before and used taco seasoning, and it's perfect. And then last but not least, I am using a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. The recipe actually calls for a can of diced tomatoes and a can of tomato sauce. Once again, I don't like big chunks of tomatoes, so I just decided to use the can of crushed tomatoes instead, because that I can tolerate. And then, of course, we have the chicken. This was just a rotisserie chicken. Here's a good hint for you guys. If you go to Walmart right before their deli closes, which I think is at 9 o'clock, so anytime, I think from, I'm not sure what time they start marking stuff down, but I'd say at least like probably 7 or 8 o'clock, they mark down all of their rotisserie chickens to $2.49 a piece. So whenever I'm in there, I grab several of them and just stick them in the freezer, and you can freeze them whole. And that's what this is. It's just a rotisserie chicken from Walmart that I shredded and cut up and put in Ziploc baggies and then put them in the freezer. And that is everything in this. So we're going to get started mixing it all together. And like I said, you could do this in your crock pot and let it cook all day if you wanted to. I mean, I guess technically you could dice up some raw chicken and put it in there if you're going to cook it all day in your crock pot, but so much easier just to use a rotisserie chicken. Let me get my oven or my stove turned on. And first, I'm going to do the cream of chicken soup, because if you've ever cooked using cream of chicken soup and you just dump it into something, it really clumps up. So I personally like to take the cream of chicken soup and the milk and water and kind of mix it together first. That way it gets out all of those lumps. Yeah, it takes a couple minutes to get everything mixed together. And I'm using a whisk for this just because it's easier. And I'm slinging soup everywhere. I don't think I could cook anything if I didn't be messy about it. Like, it's just what I do. Alright. I think we got that pretty well mixed up, so we're going to dump in the rest of it. Get this out of the way. Get this over here on my stove. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Get you moved a little closer. Alrighty. The rest of this is literally just dumping everything in a pot. Like, this could not be more simple. And it tastes so good. And what I like to do is take some corn tortillas and cut them into strips. Actually, probably should have mixed this taco seasoning in before I added all that milk, because it's going to get clumpy. But oh well. Hopefully it all breaks up as it's cooking. But anyway, I take tortilla strips and, the corn tortilla, and cut them into strips and fry them in my deep fryer, or if you don't really want to fry them, you could bake them in the oven. And then take them out and sprinkle a little salt on them. And that is really, really good with this. You can just kind of put them on top of the soup, or break them up in it, kind of like you would, you know, crackers or something in a soup. Or you could just take a bag of tortilla chips, or just eat it with nothing. It's good either way. Yeah, that taco seasoning's gonna be a little clumpy. Yeah, probably should have mixed that with the cream of chicken soup before I added all the milk in, just to keep it from clumping, but I think it'll be okay. Alright, next we're going to add in this big old can of crushed tomatoes without splattering it everywhere, which might be impossible. And then next is the black beans. And if you like black beans and you want more, you could always add 2 cans. It's just going to probably be more beans than anything else. And also, if you don't like corn, then leave the corn out. You don't have to put the corn. Next, speaking of corn, we will add the corn. I got these bags of frozen corn at this little discount grocery store where I live. I think it's called United Grocery Outlet. And I got these for like 40 cents a bag, and it's like a 16-ounce bag, so good deal. Alright, I want to do probably about half of that bag. Yeah, I think that'll be plenty. Yeah, maybe a tad bit more. Yeah, that was probably a little over half, but I like corn, so. And then last but not least, the chicken. Otherwise, it wouldn't be chicken tortilla soup. It'd just be tortilla soup. And this was, like I said, an entire rotisserie chicken. I didn't do too much of the thighs on it, a little bit. Most of it was just chicken breast and the drumsticks. But it gave me quite a bit of chicken. I think the recipe calls for 2 to 4 chicken breasts, depending on how many you want. But like I said, this whole rotisserie chicken was plenty. And that is it, guys. That is literally how easy that recipe is. You just mix everything together. I kind of let it come to a boil, but you don't want to leave it unattended, or, you know, to make sure it doesn't stick. So I'm going to let this cook, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. And I will also make some of the corn tortilla strips I was telling you about and show you the finished product and clean up this mess. So I'll be back. Hey everyone, we are back with our finished product. I let the chicken tortilla soup simmer for about 30 minutes while I was doing some other stuff and cutting up my corn tortillas. And as you can see, it's not super thick. Like, it is definitely like a soup, but it is so good. The taco seasoning gives it the perfect amount of seasoning. It's not too spicy. Obviously, you could put more peppers and stuff in it if you wanted it spicier, but I'm serving mine with some cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese, and some sour cream on top. And then the little corn tortilla strips that I just took some round corn tortillas and cut them in strips and deep fried them, drained them on a paper towel, and sprinkled with salt. Obviously, you could add some sliced jalapenos or, you know, red peppers, green peppers, whatever. Any other kind of pepper you want. Add some hot sauce to it if you want it even spicier. Whatever you want to do. It is completely up to you. Whatever your taste preference is. But it is so yummy. I love these corn tortilla strips. You can either just, I like to dip mine in it and eat it, or you could like break them up and crunch them over the top, or however you wanted to. Or you just use regular tortillas that you buy at the store too. That would work just as well. I just had a bunch of corn tortillas, and they're really good if you have corn tortillas that are older and they're getting kind of crumbly. Those are the perfect ones to use, because when you deep fry them, they don't taste any different. So anyway, I hope you guys like this. If you do, give me a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, then subscribe for more future videos. And I hope you guys try this, and I will see you next time. Bye.